Shalom. Call Halal Allah Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people in the world call God, by Hashem, in the name of Yahweh Shah, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people in the world call JC. Once again, the true names of the Heavenly Father's only begotten Son is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom also to you, Akim, you brothers that's pushing and spreading this word throughout the four corners of the earth, who's also uplifting the names Yahweh by Shema Shah. Shalom to you, Akim. Shalom also to the Israelite foreigners, the speckled bird, man, woman, the child, whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all forefathers. Though you may look like the heathen nations, you're scattered amongst which the heathen nations, as you see in this chart of nations starting from 2 on down, those are the heathen nations. Also, if your bloodline, your lineage goes back to these people, and Salakia, as you see on this chart through the man, and if your spirit bear witness with this word, this truth, you can receive it to the speckled bird, man, with no child. This does apply to you. You are Israelites, though you do look like the heathen. You're scattered amongst, due to the scattering these people in this chart. So you will have Israelites come looking like the other nations, but they're indeed Israelites because they're under the curses of Deuteronomy 28, the 15th verse, all the way to the 68th verse. Their spirit bear witness with this word that they're the sons and daughters of Yahweh Shema Shah. Most importantly, their line, their lineage goes back to these people through the man. No matter what they come looking like, if their father is an Israelite, that makes them an Israelite as well. Also, to the few Aqua, few Israelite sisters that do listen, learn, believe, have respect towards your husband, Shalom. To the elect of Israel, Shalom. To you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you combine, consist, and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people of the Most High Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, who the worldly calls JC. Once again, Yahweh Shah. And Shalakia, I might have to do things a little bit different because of what's going on with my phone. It's just been acting up. Google's been down. Just certain apps that just crashed, and I would go on it and wouldn't let me go on it. So just bear, with me when I have to do this. So alright. So I'm just gonna play this clip. I wanna touch on this whole thing with solidarity thing. How these so-called Asians, which is Moab and you got Ammon, the main two. Alright. Which you do got Israelites amongst, how all of a sudden they're talking about unity with the so-called blacks. But we're going to play this clip.
Hate can have no safe harbor in America. It must stop.
Well, stop right there. He said hate can have no place in America. Well, according to Salakia, this is the way I got to do it, because all of a sudden the things I use, my DUI recorder, everything I use is not working all of a sudden. So just bear with me. All right. So he's talking about hate does not have a place in America. Well, what have you so-called white people, since you've been in power, what have you pushed? You've pushed nothing but hate. All right. Especially when it came to so-called Negro, Latino, Native American. All right. But we're going to start off with this. This is Ecclesiastes 3. And we're going to start at 1. It says, to everything there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Because everything that goes on the planet Earth that you see taking place, nothing happens accidentally. Nothing just happens randomly or it's a coincidence. No, everything has a purpose. The Heavenly Father sanctions everything. All right. So I'm going to go down to 7. It says, a time to rent and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace, man. All right. And we're in the time of what? We're in the time of war and hate, man. All right. That whole time of love was America. All right. Nothing was ever love in this place, man. The way like the scripture says, this bloody city, the way this country was established, all right, it wasn't by love, man. It was established through war, man. All right. And it's the same thing now. You got wars and rumors of wars. You got, all right, nation against nation right now. Okay. Let's get Luke, the 12th chapter, real quick, and we're going to go back to the video. All right. Luke 12 and 53 says, I start at 50, right? It says, but I have a baptism to be baptized with? And how am I straightened till I be accomplished? And this is who the world calls JC, JESUS. I'm not going to say the name. All right. Which his name is Yahweh. This is him speaking, right? Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth, because that's what everybody believes. When you think of JC, all right, you think who the world calls Jesus. I'm just gonna say that one time, and after that, just JC. All right, you think he's all about love, peace, everybody being together. No, man. What does this say? Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you nay, meaning no, but rather division. Okay, division, man. And that's what you see at an all-time high right now. All right, what do they keep talking about? Racial crimes and hate crimes at an all-time high. That's why, because the Lord is bringing that division, man. All right, the Lord, as it says in Exodus 15:3, is a man of war himself. All right, so we just gonna get back.
President and Vice President in Atlanta today promising to do all they can to protect Asian Americans from attacks in the streets, from the deadly mass shooting there in Georgia to the disturbing attacks right here in Northern California. Local leaders saying enough is enough.
Fight, stand up against it, and report it.
Sacramento Police Chief Daniel Hahn joined by other black community leaders in this Friday news conference.
We've also been to all the massage parlors because we know, even though there hasn't been any specific threats to our massage parlors here in the community, we do know that there would obviously be fear around that based on what happened in Atlanta.
We need all communities to come together and fight this with us because we can't do this alone.
Elk Grove City Council member and Executive Director for Asian Resources, Inc., Stephanie Nguyen, fighting back tears.
My family left Vietnam to escape violence.
Leaders from the Sacramento NAACP, Sacramento Black Chamber of Commerce, and other organizations all standing in solidarity with the Asian American community.
And see, that's another thing with you Jakes, man, you tribes, man, of Israel, man. See, it's all these things, all these atrocities, all these crimes that's been done to our nation in the past and even to this day. All right, nobody comes to your aid, but when it's the other way around, when it's one of these heathen nations, all right, when they go through the same thing you're going through, you automatically the first nation to jump to their aid, man. You jump to the rescue for them, man. All right, you break your back and jump to the rescue, man. All right, but another Jake could be in a worse state, and Jake will just walk right past him, man. All right, let me get this real quick. All right. That's an illness. All right. This is real quick. This is Jeremiah 15:5 says, "For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem?" Speaking to you tribes, or who shall bemoan thee, or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Okay. And none of these nations have done that, man. And if they do it, all right, these heathens, it's false. All right, just like the Esau, even the so-called white man. All right, every time it's time for campaigning and you voting for him, so-called voting for him. All right, what do? They speak, all right, fair and pleasing words to you tribes to get you all roused up. All right, thinking you have a savior. All right. And then you come to the aid for them, and when they're in a position of authority or, they got what they need out of you, they use you and they abuse you, and then they just throw you away. Nobody bemoans you tribes, but you tribes, on the other hand, all right, you want to come to the rescue. You want to be captain, all right, you want to be Superman, all right? Real quick, this is Jeremiah. Let's get Jeremiah 2, okay? And, okay, I started 9. It says, "Wherefore I will plead with you, saith the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, and with your children's children will I plead. For pass over the isles of Shittim, and see, and send unto Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there be such a thing. Have a nation changed their gods, or yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which does not profit," man. All right, you serve these false gods. That's one thing. All right, you're rebellious. Okay, and you look at really the main gods you look at as gods, the so-called white man, white Jesus, man. All right, JC, man. All right, so-called JC, man. All right, you look at him as your main god, man. And if it's not that, it's these other false deities, man. And you change your glory because the Lord got glory coming to you. But these nations want to stop you from that glory. And you want to protect these nations because you could live, all right, in sin for a little season, man. All right. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid, and be ye very desolate, said the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, for my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me to found the living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, and broken cisterns that can hold no water, because the Lord is breaking, all right, this system down, man. All right, he's breaking the system of Edomite supremacy, so-called white supremacy down, and all these nations that's tied in and juiced in with the so-called white supremacy, they're falling with it, because when America falls, these other nations fall, man. All right, but you are holding on to a broken cistern, man, that holds no water, man. These nations have done nothing, all right, to benefit our people, man. They will never do anything to benefit our people. All right, the only thing they would do to benefit our people is if we continue to be in this lower state and they continue to be in the highest state. All right, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled, man? All right, we're gonna jump down to the third verse, I believe. All right, it says, why trimmest thou away to seek love? Therefore hast thou all also taught the wicked ones thy ways. All right, and you do that because you want to seek love from these other nations, because you know deep down inside these other nations have a hatred towards you, man. And that's what it is, man. All right, he's talking about we're gonna do everything to stop this, man. You see, the only nation of people that will jump for another nation that doesn't like you, all right, to guard them when they're not doing it, then they don't have your back. You see, they don't have your back. All right. And real quick, let's go to Ezekiel 10. Okay. I believe it's 13 actually. This is Ezekiel 13. I started verse 1, right? And it says, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel. And he's speaking of the so-called prophets on the left-hand side, aka these celebrities, these rappers, all right, these policemen, all right, or these police commissioners, all right, these different leaders, your Al Sharp Tongues, what they call it, the NAACP, if I'm not mistaken. All right, these type, man, the black boule. All right, them, your politicians that look like you, all of them. All right, if our people follow them, they're considered prophets. But you got what? Prophets that will deceive you. You got prophets that lead you to what? To Yahweh Shema Shah, man. They're not leading you to Yahweh Shema Shah. They're telling you, all right, that we can all be under one banner. All right, we could get along with each other. Which that's just the part of the New World Order, man. Just like when the Tower of Babel was built by Nimrod. All right, he wanted everybody was speaking one language. All right, everybody was under one religion, under one government, and this is what they want to do again. All right, that same concept. You see, that's really wicked because the Lord didn't put all the nations on to be all right together or to be one. The Lord created nations and divided nations for a reason, but we're gonna get into that. All right. And say unto them, thou that prophesy out of their own hearts, hear the words of the Lord. Because the Lord clearly said he's bringing division. What they keep talking about? Peace. They keep talking about getting together. That's not what the Lord said. All right. It says, thus saith the Lord Yahweh. It says, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert. Ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedges for the house of Israel to stand the battle in the day of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah. Because all these things are going to come. All right, famines, wars and rumors of wars, division, all right, martial law, all right. All these things are going to come with the coming of Yahweh, second coming of Yahweh Shah, all right. These have to happen for Yahweh Shah to return. World War III, you know. They have seen vanity and lying divination, saying the Lord saith, and the Lord have not sent them. And they have made others to hope that they will confirm the word, hoping it's going to be, equality between you and these heathen nations, man. It's not going to happen. All right? Have ye not seen a vain vision, and have ye not spoken a lying divination, whereas ye say The Lord said, albeit I have not spoken. Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because ye have spoken vanity and seen lies, therefore behold, I am against you, saith the Lord Yahweh. And my hand shall be upon the prophets that see vanity, and that divine lies, they shall not be in the assembly of my people. Neither shall they be written in the writing of the house of Israel, neither shall they enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah. Because because they have seduced my people, saying peace, there was no peace. And one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar. All right, and that's the thing. These different false leaders amongst us, they keep saying peace, peace, but the actions, all right, because you could say a word, but your actions could speak louder than words, man. All right, when Esau and these other nations say they want peace, their actions show a whole nother thing, man. All right, we gonna get into that, man. Okay, that's the other one. All right, this video right here. Let me go back.
I don't think it was ever
All right,
asleep. We
this right here.
Asian Americans have weaponized our proximity to whiteness in order to murder black people. George Floyd and Latasha Harlins should be here today, but they aren't because of our individual actions and our collective inaction. We can't just blame white people for pitting us against each other either, because the fact of the matter is that Asian cultures have a huge colorism problem and a huge problem with black people. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today is part 2 of my 3-part series about unpacking anti-blackness in the United States. And if you're new to my channel, last week I posted part 1 of this series. Part 1 is a basic one-on-one conversation about how white supremacy operates in the US in order to maintain black people as second-class citizens. The next video in the series, which will come out next week, will be about Gone with the Wind. So, if you're interested in that, please subscribe and ring the bell so you're notified when I post new videos. But today is part 2, and today we're going to be talking about anti-blackness in the Asian American community.
Sorry, it's always really awkward talking to you guys after being gone for a while. Almost as awkward as my dad around my black friends. Hey, Dad. Hey, Mr. Wu. Is it cool if my friends stay over? Of course. Now, where's my gun at? You had the gun. And don't worry, my dad has nothing against black people. He's just a little uncomfortable around you guys.
I post a lot on my channel about racism that Asian people face, but today I want to talk about the racism that Asian people take part in and perpetuate. Though I was adopted into a white family and grew up in a very white world, doesn't mean that I haven't seen anti-blackness at play. Quite to the contrary, actually. When I was younger, I was very invested in becoming Asian American. I took traditional Chinese dance classes with both Chinese American students and Chinese American adoptees. I was friends with a lot of Korean American kids who were mainly children of recent immigrants, and after I graduated high school, I took part in a few Asian American clubs at my college. And even though I'm still seen as whitewashed by the community due to the fact that I grew up white, I am still Asian, and not enough of us are speaking out in support of Black Lives Matter. And I think that's for a few reasons, which I'll get into at the end of this video. But first I want to talk about how Asian Americans benefit from white supremacy and use our proximity to whiteness in order to subjugate black people. And I've decided to structure this part of the video in a numbered list with 5 main points. So let's get started. So number 1, conditional whiteness. Asian Americans have benefited from white supremacy. Though Asian Americans face their own set of racist stereotypes and have their own racist history in this country, our model minority status given to us by white people is somewhat of a privilege. It means we don't get racially profiled by the police and that we can walk freely without someone calling the cops on us.
So you hear that? All right, which this is not surprising. All right, we already knew this. All right, but so-called, I said so-called white, so-called white supremacy, right? Edomite supremacy, right? All right, it does not just benefit the Edomite man, woman, and child, but it also benefits what? These other nations. It's not just Moab, but Moab is at the top of the list when it comes to that. All right, because that's that it goes back to that covenant. We go to Psalms 83 that all these heathens made with each other. And we're going to get it. Psalms 83:1 says, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silent, O Yahweh. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. All right? For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Okay? So it says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more remembrance. All right? And this is why you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you go around calling yourself black, you go around calling yourself Latino from whatever country, Latin country, all right, you're in, all right, Native and Seminole Indian, that's why you call yourself that, all right? This is why you think the Latinos, so-called Latinos, you think, all right, you're not related, all right, to the so-called blacks. The blacks think they're not related to so-called Negroes. The tribes just think they aren't related to each other. They just think they're the individual people, all right? And the reasoning for that is because of this right here, all right? For they have consulted together with one consent. They are a confederate against thee. And if you go in that word confederate, all right? Ah, man, I wish I could if you go in that word confederate, I want to get in the blue letter, okay? It means a treaty, an alliance, all right? We're going to get it. Oh, man, please don't do this. Oh, man. All right, you know what? We just gonna go back to see, this is what I was talking about. All right, we're just gonna go back to the KJV. To hell with it, man. All right. But if you go into that word confederacy, confederate, it meant a treaty, an alliance, a man from man to man, and that's what they did. It says the tabernacles of Edom. So that's the first nation it named of the enemies of the nation of Israel was the tabernacles of Edom, the so-called white people. All right, that's your natural born enemy. That's why the tension between us and them is so great on the earth. It's so great that the other nations see it and wonder why it is what it is. You see, it says, and the Ishmaelites, the so-called Arabs, because they also had a hand, all right, in our downfall, man. All right, look up the Arab slave trade. You see, who you think that was they were doing that to? Was doing that to Jake. It says of Moab, the so-called Chinese, and the Hagarenes, more Ishmaelites, Jebel, more Edomites, Ammon, the Japanese. All right, Amalek, the so-called Jewish people, all right, who think they're the real people, but they're not. They're also Edomites. All right. They also had a hand, okay, in labeling, giving you them names African American. They also funded the first slave ship, which was called the good ship Jesus, man. All right, the name you like to call on. The Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre, which is them Hamites, them Africans. Asher also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot. All right, so all these nations made a decree or made an alliance with each other to keep, all right, the Israelites, all right, the nation of Israel, for one, to keep that name blotted out the earth, and two, to keep these people down. Make sure they're not connected to their power. So what? We can continue to rule. All right? That's what they've done. All right? And Moab, you high up the chart with it. All right? That just exposed you right there. This is 2nd Ezra 15. You know, I really wanted to get in the blue letter because the blue letter you could go deep in the words, but you saw what happened. It's been happening all morning. This is 2nd Ezra 15, and and 46, and says, "And thou, Asia, that are partake of the hope of Babylon, America, and are the glory of her person." She just told you. All right? They benefit from so-called white, and they're not even so-called white. They benefit from it though. That's them, all right, being the glory of her person. You see? Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom. And she was brought in by two Edomites. And you know she was proud, even though she's doing these videos. She was probably at one point proud and, you know, thought she was just this Edomite herself, man. That thou might please and glory in thy lovers which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Alright? And if you look dealing with the MOB, the mark of the beast technology, the RFID chip, alright, who's going hard alongside America for that type of technology? It's China. They already have certain things set up for it, man. The cameras, alright, the digital currency, you know, you not having to go in the store and, you know, spend your money. Alright, they going hard for that, just as America is. You see? Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions, therefore said the Lord, man. Because what does it say in Malachi, the first chapter? For Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated, man. And this is Esau's kingdom or queendom. The Lord hates Esau. The Lord hates everything about Esau. Everything he wants to do, the Lord hates, man. And you're following right after him, man. So what does that make you? You know? I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, because when this whole Crown Royal 19 thing started in Wuhan, China, all right, people heard of it, and when it got bad, all right, it got to the point where people here in America and elsewhere, wherever there's a Chinatown, they didn't want to go in Chinese restaurants, you know, because what, that stigma? Oh, they got the virus, you know. So what did that cause? It caused their businesses to lose a lot of money. All right, a lot of them probably lost their business. That's poverty, famine, sword. You see what's happening. These attacks, that's just random attacks that's been happening. Whether Esau is gonna have his hand in it, he's just using it, all right, to his advantage to demonize us. It don't matter. They're still getting attacked, man. All right, they're being attacked. And pestilence, which is the crown royal, the main thing right now. To waste thy houses with destruction and death. And this is coming upon the whole world. This is not just going to be Moab. All right? You're going to be a part of it, though. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower. The heat shall rise that is sent over thee. Because what's everybody talking about? China's the next superpower. All right, that's dying, man. That's not going to happen. You see? Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one chastened with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. All right, and this is why you see what's happening to Moab happen to Moab, and also Ammon. All right, Ammon, you're not exempt from this either. All right, but when a woman, all right, when you have war break out, all right, a nation is taking that the men is slaughtered, right? The men is slaughtered, and the men that's not slaughtered, they're basically to the point of defenselessness. They're captive. So a woman, she's easily gonna cave into that. She's not built for that. You see? And that's what's happening to Moab and Ammon right now. Alright? But nobody's receiving you, man. Okay? Nobody's receiving you anymore. You see? Let's get let me see. Alright? And you like to bring up, you know, foul play and this is wrong and anti-Asian this, anti-Asian that. Well, now let me tell you one thing. You will have Israelites come looking like these Moabites and Ammonites, man. Like this dude right here, for example. This dude's a Jake. But if you look on the outward appearance, he looks like a Moabite or Ammonite. Alright? He's a Jake though. The way he talk, the way he dress, alright, how he carries himself, he's a Jake, man. And even amongst Ammon, the so-called Japanese, you have a Chicano population amongst them. Alright? These are Jakes. Alright? Because who's real big with the Chicano culture? is mainly the Latin tribes. All right, mainly Issachar, the so-called Mexicans. All right, that's if you look in L.A., California, period. All right, this is what you see. So most likely they look like on the outside Ammonite, so-called Japanese people. All right, but they got the spirit of Jake, man. They got the spirit of really the Northern Kingdom. You see? So they're probably Northern Kingdom that just look like Ammon. So you will have our people that's gonna look like, all right, these other nations, man. That's amongst them. All right, a lot of them people in Thailand, a lot of them are Israelites. The Philippines, a lot of them are Israelites. All right, but for the most part, you also got amongst them, the majority of them are heathens. All right, but let's get this right. Let me go back to the video.
For the most part, we're seen as non-threatening. However, as seen with COVID, our privilege is conditional. I said this in my COVID video, but there are so many Asian American people who, for the first time, were saying America is so racist and racism against Asian people in the US has been reawoken. Like, I don't think it was ever asleep. But that just.
Well, okay. Your point is, well, let's get this real quick. Okay? Let's get Daniel's 9. Okay? Actually, and yeah, you Asians, yeah, you had your little beefs with Edom and other races. Alright? But the Lord doesn't care, man. Okay, I'm gonna show you why. You see? Let's get this real quick. Alright? We're gonna start at 6, right? Deuteronomy 32 and 6. It says, do ye thus requite the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, O foolish people and unwise? Is not he thy father that had bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? Remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee. When the Most High divided the nation to the nations their inheritance, all right, when he separated the sons of Adam, because we all come of Adam, right? He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. The Lord's only dealing, all right, with the nation of Israel. He only cares about the nation of Israel, all right? For the Lord's portion is his people. He didn't, for Jacob, which is Israel, is the lot of his inheritance. He found him in the desert land and in the waste howling wilderness. He led him about. He instructed him. He kept him as the apple of his eye. All right? So the nation of Israel is the apple of the Lord's eye. The world is not the apple of the Lord's eye. The nation of Israel is. All right? So whatever happens to Israel, let me get the Daniel's the 9th chapter. Okay? Because that also goes deep into that, right? Let's go Daniel's 9 and I started 9. Actually, I started 8. O Lord, Yahweh Bashimashah, to us belonging confusion of face, which we call them speckled bird. That's the Israelites that look like the other nations. Alright? Because they look like the heathens, but they're actually Israelites. That's why it says confusion of face. To our kings, to our princes, to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. To the Lord Yahweh, our power belong mercies and forgiveness. It's like forgiveness. Though we have rebelled against him, neither have we obeyed the voice of the Lord Yahweh Shemashah power to walk in his laws which he set before us by his servant the prophets. Yeah, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, because the law, statutes, and commandments was given to us only. Psalms 147 or 148 tells you that. All right, and the Lord made it clear in that same chapter, in one of those 2 chapters, that he have not dealt so with any other nation. All right, but we broke the law, statutes, and commandments, so that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse, what curse? Deuteronomy 28, the 15th verse, all the way down to the 68th verse. That's what fell upon us. That's what we're under right now. is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahweh, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. All right, and what was that great evil that was brought upon our people? The transatlantic slave trade. That's the most known great evil. All right, when it comes to our people, when you see the so-called Negro, so-called Latino, yes, I said Latino because they were also on slave ships, and Native and Seminole Indians. All right, because they also was on slave ships, and I had a picture at one time. I googled it and I found a picture where they was luring, all right, so-called Native Americans on slave ships. They were chained up, but Esau took that picture down because I did a video on it. You know, so they must have saw it and took it down. They don't want us to link two and two together. That we're the same people. But anyway, that was when you think of these people, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, you automatically gonna think of slavery. They're slaves. That was that great evil that fell upon us, man. All right, because we went off. For under the whole heaven have not been done as have been done upon Jerusalem. So no other nation basically has gone through what the nation of Israel has gone through, man. We went through the worst captivity and still going through the worst captivity that any nation can fathom, man. No nation can go through what we went through. The only reason why we're still standing as we are is because the Lord is with us. All right? For as of the Lord's mercy, we are not consumed like the scriptures say. That's why we're still here, man. Because the way slavery went down, we shouldn't even be here. All right? You even had to where Esau, he damn near killed off the majority of the so-called Native Americans. All right, because he created the Gatling gun. You know, you had the disease warfare, the smallpox. You see, you had the Trail of Tears. We had a lot of Gad, also Simeon. I'm not Seminole. Reuben. They froze to death because they were kicked off particular lands that they were on in the first place. All right, no nation has gone through that. I don't care what type of captivity you try to bring up. You know, you got Amalek, the so-called Jewish people. They love to bring up the H cost. I'm not going to say the whole word because they're going to be funny about it. But you know what I'm talking about. Where they said 7 million of them were killed in camps, man. Concentration camps, man. All right, in Germany, man. You see? Even if that did happen, for one, the Lord allowed that to happen because he controls everything. He controls good and evil. Isaiah 45 tells you that. All right. But two, if it did happen, the Lord don't care. You're not his people. All right. What goes on with you actual Moabites and you actual Ammonites with this situation? The Lord only cares about the Israelites. He doesn't care about your plight. All right. He doesn't care. The children of Israel, all right, is the apple of his eye. Not the children of Ammon, not the children of Moab, not the children of Edom, not the children of anybody outside the 12 tribes of Israel, man. All right? He doesn't care, man. Okay? And let's get a few, all right, times where we had beef with Ammon, all right, and Moab, man. And this right here is Ammon. Okay? This is 2 Samuel 10:1. It says, and it came to pass after this that the children of the king of the children of Ammon, all right, died, and Hanun, his son, reigned in his stead. Then said David, I will show kindness unto Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness unto me. And David sent to comfort him by the hand of his servants for his father. And David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. So David, he was friends with his father, so to say, right? So now that the king died and his son is reigning in his stead, all right, he sent comforters to basically comfort them, and you know how you have a relative die and somebody that was close to your relative or close to you, they come and say they're sorry that you for your loss, something like that. And the princes of the children of Ammon, Salakia, said unto Hanan, their Lord thinkest thou that David doth honor thy father, that he hath sent comforters unto thee? Have not David rather sent his servants unto thee to search the city and to spy it out and to overthrow it? And it's the same mindset that Ammon and Moab have today. All right, look how Jake, you see it in the movies, man. Menace to society. All right, don't be a menace while drinking your juice. Don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. The scenes where you had Jake go in the store and Moab and Ammon, they'll just be whether it's Moab or Ammon, mainly Moab, they'll just be watching Jake all throughout the store, thinking Jake gonna steal something, thinking Jake gonna rob the store or something. And Jake got money to pay for what they're gonna buy. All right, what did it say? Hurry up and buy. Hurry up and buy. You see? You had the Jake and he played for the NBA, but I forgot what team he played. I think he played for the Memphis Grizzlies and the Denver Nuggets. He was playing for the Basketball Association out in China. And what happened was, some of you might know what I'm talking about. What happened was he went to a strip club where you had a bunch of Moabite women that were strippers. He had one Moabite woman strip on him, and he had said a comment about it, that they was thick, basically. And what happened was they caught on to it. The Moabites out there caught on to it. They banned him from the. Just look it up. They banned him from the NBA. I mean, not the NBA, the CBA, if that's what it's called out there. All right, for life. And then he got on his social media page a bunch of N-words. They were calling him an N-word. All right. So it's the same thing today. The same thing you see today when it comes to Ammon, Ammon and Moab, is the same thing that it was going through back in the ancient world with our forefathers. All right. Wherefore Hanan took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beards and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. All right, it's law for us to have a beard, man, if you can grow one. All right, and for your buttocks to be showing, your behind to be showing. You see Jake today, in today's society, they like to sag. All right, that's a shame, man. That was a shame in the ancient world. All right, so basically they attacked the messengers. All right, and you wasn't supposed to attack the messenger. A king would send a messenger to another king to send a message. If you attack the messenger, that was an act of war. So keep going. When they told it on to David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return. And when the children of Ammon saw that they stank before David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth Rahab and the Syrians of Zobah 20,000 footmen, and of King Maacah 1,000 men, and of Ishtar 12,000 men. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the hosts of the mighty men. So not only did they attack the messengers of David that was coming to comfort them, by the way, they wasn't coming with with war. They wasn't coming with no beef or nothing. They just came to basically, comfort them. And not only he disrespect the messengers, but he got the Syrians, he got other heathens, all right, together to go to war with us. So this is where they at with it, man. David was coming with peace, and they came with war. So David responded with war. I'm not gonna read this whole account. We're gonna get the account, all right, dealing with Moab, all right. This is Judith 7th and 1. Says the next day Holofernes commanded all his army and all his people which were come to take his part, that they should remove their camp against Bethulia, to take aforehand the ascents of the hill country, to make war against the children of Israel. Then their strong men removed their camps in that day, and the army of the men of war was 170,000 footmen and 12,000 horsemen, beside the baggage and other men that were afoot, among them a very great multitude. And they camped in the valley near Bethulia by the fountain, and they spread themselves and breathed over Dothaim, even to Belmayim, and length from Bethulia on to Sunaman, which is over Esdraelon. Now the children of Israel, when they saw the multitude of them, were greatly troubled, and said everyone to his neighbor, now will these men lick up the face of the earth, for neither the high mountains nor the valleys nor the hills are able to bear their weight. Then every man took up his weapons of war, and when they had kindled fires upon their towers, they remained and watched all that night. But in the second day, Herlophanes brought forth all his horsemen in the sight of the children of Israel, which were in Bethulia, and viewed the passages up to the city, and came to the fountains of their waters, and took them, and set garrisons of men of war over them. And he himself removed toward his people. Then came on to him all the chief of the children of Esau, which is not a coincidence. Did we not read in Psalms 81 the nations that came together, all right, to take us down, basically? Then came on to him all the chief of the children of Esau, and all the governors of the people of Moab, and the captains of the sea coast, and said, let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spirits, but in the height of the mountains wherein they dwell, because it is not easy to come up to the top of their mountains. Now therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array, and there shall not so much as one man of thy people perish. Remain thy camp and keep all the men of thy army, and let thy servants get into their hands the fountains of water, which issueth forth of the foot of the mountain. For all the inhabitants of Bethulia have their water thence. So shall thirst kill them, and they shall give up their city, and we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, and will camp upon them to watch that none goeth out of the city. So they and their wives and their children shall be consumed with fire, and before the sword come against them, they shall be overthrown in the streets where they dwell. And it says, thus shall I render them an evil reward, because they rebelled and met not thy person peaceably. So this is what they wanted. They were giving him, all right, tips on how to destroy our nation, man. Basically, take away their water, all right, so they could die of thirst, and they'll come out of their holes, all right, and when they come out their holes, you know, we're gonna basically ambush them. That's basically what they were doing. So these people have always had a hatred, and they wanted harm, you know, to our people, man. So this whole thing about peace, you know, this whole thing about peace, this, peace, that, is a lie, man. It's a ruse, man. All right? They know Jake is sensitive, man. All right? Let's get second Maccabee. First Maccabees 2:10, man. Oops. All right? That's why the scripture said, remember the times of old, man. All right? These, because they'll like to say that I didn't own a slave, you weren't a slave, all right? Though our forefathers that owned you, they're dead. No, you are your forefathers. All right? This is Mattathias, right? Seeing the destruction of our people. This First Maccabees 2:7 says, he said, woe is me. Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. Her temple is become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had part in her kingdom and God of her spoils? He was talking about the downfall of our nation. All right? He was talking about that. So he was witnessing the destruction of our nation, just like we're witnessing now. This is the worst, all right, estate, all right, we've been in ever, man. This is the lowest of the low. This is the only captivity where our nationality, all right, was beat out of us. All right? This is the only captivity, all right, where we were completely detached from Yahweh Shemal Shah. All right? So he was witnessing that. He said, what nation have not gotten of our spoils, man? All these nations got a piece of us, especially Moab, man. Moab is not innocent, man. All right? They're just as guilty as the so-called white man is. All right? All you nations are just as guilty as the so-called white man. All of you took confederacy against the Israelites, man. And you're going to pay for it, man. All right? This is Zechariah 11. And 14 says, so the angel that communed with me said unto me, cry thou, saying, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemashah host, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. Because you've been at ease for a while. It tells you that in Revelation the 11th chapter. How they rejoiced. You know, a lamentation tell you how they said, aha, we waited for this day to basically see us basically out of power, man. Because when we were in power, you know, during the time of King David, King Solomon, what was they doing? They conquered these nations, man. We had you in captivity, man. All right? And you didn't like that. So when you was able to finally get us in this lower state, you went overboard with it. All right? Says, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction, man. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemashah, I in return with mercies, my house shall be built. The house of what? The house of David. It's going to start with the house of David. Then once the house of David is established, the rest of the nation will be established, man. All right? Said the Lord Yahweh Shemashah of hosts, and the line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem, man. But the Lord was displeased at what he saw, all right, what you heathens did to his people, man. He witnessed everything. You didn't get away with nothing. All right? He witnessed everything you did in the ancient world and everything you did leading up to this time. All right? Because them Moabites, they also had slaves. All right? Israelite slaves, man. So none of you heathens are exempt from the judgment to come, man. All right? So let's get Psalms 18. So you could cry wolf all you want. And if you are Israelite and you look like Moab or Ammon or any other nation, you hear this and this bear witness with your spirit, you better repent, man. All right? Because you one of the curses as well. Just because you look like a heathen don't mean nothing. You one of the curses as well. You're not escaping the curses just because you look like another nation. But anyway, this is I started Psalms 18 to 18 because this whole chapter is decent, but we want to borrow time. Says, they prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. That's why we still here. Because like I said, the captivity that we went through and that we're still in, we really should be, as a nation, we should be annihilated. We shouldn't even be. All right, but the Lord was our stay. The Lord made sure, showing you he's still with us, that these heathen didn't completely destroy us. It tells you that in Baruch the 3rd chapter. You were not sold, all right, for your destruction, but you were sold to the nations because you drove Yahweh to wrath. All right. It says, he brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord Yahweh by Shemashah rewarded me according to my righteousness and according to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord and have not wickedly departed from my power. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him and kept myself from my iniquity. Therefore hath the Lord Yahweh Shemashah recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands and his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful. With an upright man thou wilt show thyself upright. With pure thou wilt show thyself pure, and with the froward thou wilt show thyself froward. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, will bring down high looks. And he's doing that now. All right, you Edomites are being exposed. All right, all your statues have been taken down. Your cities are collapsing. All right. You went from working an office job to collecting a stimulus check now, relying on the government. Okay. Then you got Moab. You are blamed, all right, for the Crown Royal 19. And now you can't even go outside. You got to look left and right, which is a curse that was placed upon our people, that they will not be at ease amongst the nations. Now it's happening to you. Now you're a byword amongst the nations. And it's going to get way worse than that. This is nothing. All right. This is just the beginning of what's getting ready to happen to you other nations, man. All right. For thou will light my candle. The Lord Yahweh Shemashah my power will enlighten my darkness. For by thee have I run through a troop, and by my power have I leaped over a wall. How was King David, all right, and many other forefathers able to do this? They were able to do that because the Lord gave them power. All right, the Lord gave them power to do that, man. He lifted the standard up for them, man. All right, hold up. All right, Shalakia. All right, it says, as for Yahweh, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is Yahweh, save the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, who is a rock, save our power. It is Yahweh that girdeth me with strength and maketh my way perfect. Because you got Jake, you think you could carnally take down, all right, the enemies, man. You can't do that, man. The Lord took that power away from us. The Lord has to give us, all right, that power that our forefathers had, all right, to take down enemies, man. All right, you can't. A gun ain't gonna save you. All right, going walking down the street and seeing Esau or Moab or Ammon, and you doing you going GTA style, just punching them and pushing them. That's not gonna do nothing, man. That's just gonna get you put to death. You see, we gotta wait. The scriptures say, "Wait, they that wait upon me shall renew their strength." We have to wait upon Yahweh Shema Shah, okay, for him to give us the power to take our enemies, which he eventually will do, start with his elect. All right, this is the time we coming into. We coming to the time of what? Like I always say, the big payback. The song that James Brown made. All right, the Lord's gonna give his men. However, design one of those men. You brothers are one of those men as well. All right, the powers to get vengeance, man, because it's really his vengeance. But he's gonna use his people, as it says in Ezekiel 25:12, to do it. All right, but it says he teacheth he maketh my feet hinds feet like hinds feet, and setteth me upon the high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arms, man. All right, thou hast also girded me with the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand have holding me up. Because who was on the right hand of Yahweh? It's Yahweh Shah. All right, Yahweh Shah is the mediator, the way to Yahweh. All right, and thy gentleness had made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them, neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them that they were not able to rise, they have fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle. Thou hast subdued unto me those that rose up against me. Thou hast also given me the necks of my enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. And this is going to happen again. Because those that hate us, like it said in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, they're above us again. All right? But the Lord's going to do it again. He's going to give us the power to take down our enemies. All right? These people, these heathens have not gotten away with these crimes, man. They're going to pay for that. All right? They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, but he answered them not. All right? Why didn't he answer them? Because we're his people. He's not the God of these heathens. All right? They worship idols. We worship the one and only power, man. Yahweh Shema Shah, man. All right? And he's going to be for, all right, their destruction, just as they were for our destruction. Do not, what is it, Psalms 180, what was it, Psalms 139? Do not I hate thee, that them that hate thee, they hate us, and the Lord hates them, because we're the Lord's people. All right? It says, then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people, and thou hast made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me, man. And that's what's coming. That's coming back, man. See, right now, these heathens, they could walk around and talk and scoff and, spit on you and push you and lock you up for no apparent reason. The time to come, that's not gonna be anymore. See, the Lord's gonna like he said, burst the yoke of thy he's gonna burst the yoke of iron, you know. He's gonna stop that. That's gonna stop. Because it's going to get to a point when the Lord let that stand up, you're not going to be able to do those things. Nothing these heathens are going to come with is going to work, man. No matter how big and bad it looks. Look at Goliath. All right? Look how big Goliath was. Look how small David was. Was Goliath able to take David down when David, all right, trusted in Yahweh Shema Shah? Of course not. It's going to be the same thing this time around. All right? And we're going to end it off on this. This is Psalm 60. All right? And 4, I start there. Thou hast given a banner to them that fear thee, that it may be displayed because of the truth, that thy beloved may be delivered. save with thy right hand, Yahweh Shah, and hear me. Yahweh have spoken in his holiness, and I will rejoice. I will divide Shechem and meet out the valley Succoth. Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine. Ephraim also is the strength of my head, which these are the tribes. Judah is my lawgiver. Moab is my wash pot. And that's not a coincidence. When you look at Moab, what are they always in? The nail salons, doing your feet, your nails. Well, they're going to be doing that in the kingdom, then some. All right? That's a sign of servitude, man. All right? Over Edom will I cast out my shoe, because they're going to be in slavery as well. All right? And you Edomites are going to be worked to death, especially you elites. All right? Because you elites, you might be in your little bunkers, your billion-dollar bunkers. That's going to stop. You're going to be put to work. All you nations going to be put to work. You're going to be paid double what you did to the children of Israel. Philistia, triumph thou because of me? Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom? Will not thou, O Yahweh, which has cast us off, and thou, O Yahweh, which didst not go out with our armies, give us help from trouble? For vain is the help of man. This is proof. Vain is the help of man. All right? The only one that could deliver us from these curses is Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, and he's going to do it. And he's delivering us on a small level using his word, man. And that physical, all right, deliverance is going to come. You see? Says through Yahweh we will do violently, for he it is that shall tread down our enemies, man. Through the names of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah shall we tread down our enemies. All right? Just like the time of Joshua, when they was going, all right, conquering these heathens and gaining that land. All right? Same thing going to play out, man. All right? But our enemies will, all right? Let's get this real quick. All right? Let's get this. Because this is a joke now, but when this finally comes to pass and it's fulfilled, it's not going to be funny anymore on their end. It's going to be funny to us. All right? All right, this is Isaiah 49 and 22. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will lift up my hand to the Gentiles and set my stand to the people, and they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lift up the dust of thy feet, which means they face gonna bow down basically. All right, submit and lick up the dust of thy feet, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, for they shall not be ashamed that way for me, man. This is the reward we got coming to us, man. We're gonna have the neck of our enemies, man. All right, this is what you should be asking for. You shouldn't be asking for reparations. You shouldn't be asking for, all right, equality. We're not equal to these nations. They're not equal to us. We're above them. Deuteronomy 7:6 tells you that. All right, so it's madness to even want equality. It's stupid. All right. All right. It says, shall the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered? But thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee, and I will save thy children, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood, as with sweet wine, and all flesh shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, thy Savior, and the Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. And that's what's going to be known, man, that Israel have a power, man. That we're not just this abandoned and ghetto, a nation full of whores and, people that just are just dumb and just slaves that came on banana boats. Nah, we're going to be known that this is the people of God, all right? It's going to be known, man. When the Lord judge you heathens, all right, deliver his people, it's going to be known, man. You don't got to believe it, all right? Because it's going to happen, all right? Call her Lord like Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah. Yahweh righteous eyes was edifying. Papa Kasha, Abba Papo, Abba Papo, Abba Ha'ayapia, Abba Ha'ayapia. Shalom to the elect, to the few Akwaf that do listen and learn. Shalom, Hawad, Hayah, La Yahweh Ba'Shem Shah, and Shalom to the elect once again. Shalom.